Jaden Smith was born into a unique position in hip-hop. The son of a man who obtained the first Grammy for the culture before going on to become a megastar in the always insane world of Hollywood, Will and Jada's son was essentially born to succeed. And though that came with its advantages, it also placed a heavy burden on his shoulders.
Think about it. He is the first rich black kid, really, like, of royalty, where people are like, you're Will Smith's dad. He's the most visible example of it. Like, he has room to fail.
Yet, he has certainly taken advantage of that room to fail, just as Gambino alluded to. But the problem is that he has done so in a way that the prospect of viewing him as a star in his own right, as opposed to the weird kid of Fresh Prince, is practically impossible for a lot of people. Particularly when he has done a million things that have cemented that reputation. It's your boy Luesta, and this is why Jaden Smith can never succeed. When you see Jaden Smith in the headlines, it's more often than not because of something other than his music. And alongside that, he's usually getting clowned on for some publicity stunts or over-the-top antics, or just straight up being annoying. Just look at the recent attire he chose to sport at this year's Grammys and how everyone responded to it. Appearing alongside his sister, the similarly eccentric Willow, Jaden baffled the internet once again when he decided to rock a castle on his head, which was designed by the Transylvanian designers Abodi. Understandably, people were a little baffled by this decision, but more than that, they were actively annoyed by what they were seeing. My teen girl says it's giving pick-me energy. What the heck is wrong with him? I wouldn't want to sit behind him at the award show. Anything for attention. So sad. Understandably for Jaden, this has increasingly become the reaction when he does anything. But this certainly didn't happen overnight, and the question is, does he really have anyone to blame but himself? Where the public were once interested enough in what he had to say that his debut album went gold, he's now in a tough spot where everything he does gets diminishing returns. And now, musically at least, he's at a point where it doesn't seem like he'll ever better the commercial success he saw back when he appeared alongside
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never. Now, it would be disingenuous to act like he doesn't have his supporters who do vibrate with what he's putting out. As to some people, Jaden's outlook on life is an inherently refreshing one. Some even labeled him as innovative, and that they were really proud of him, while others referred to him as a national treasure. But it's fair to say that the vast majority of people who aren't specifically subscribing to his mindset, Jaden's journey through hip-hop seems like a missed opportunity that has been squandered by his own behavior. And while you may not realize it, he's been on this path for a long time.
Really into that when I was young.
Nurtured by the Fresh Prince himself and his wife, actress Jada Pinkett Smith, Jaden was homeschooled by his parents, eventually stepping into the world of film with blockbuster roles in The Pursuit of Happiness and The Karate Kid, giving him a chance to break free from his father's shadow. But no matter how far he went, he could never quite outrun it. And in early interviews, he opened up about not only how his life was a lot different from your normal childhood, but how his father seemed to be doing the utmost to destroy any credibility he could possibly have.
But it's pretty embarrassing when my dad tries to kiss me on the mouth in public.
Oh man, that is bad.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
That is.
We were in Korea. He tried to kiss me on my mouth in the press conference. He tried to make a heart with our hands like this. I was against that as well.
You weren't down with the heart with Dad.
I was against that as well. And on Ellen, he tried to kiss me, and I almost flipped the couch over. So that was a good time.
I think it's sweet that your dad loves you so much.
I appreciate the love, but there's a time and place to kiss somebody.
I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
To make matters worse, his career was about to take a major hit from his first flop, a scarring experience that left him unwilling to pursue that side of entertainment ever again. The problems came from M. Night Shyamalan's After Earth. For those who don't know, this was a big budget sci-fi film starring Will Smith and his son Jaden. And while it had all the makings of a blockbuster hit with big stars, high production value, and a unique setting, it ended up being a huge disappointment both critically and financially. A film which is said to be based on certain aspects of the teachings of Scientology, a church which Will and Jada have allegedly donated to over the years, the film barely scraped $60 million in the United States against its massive $130 million budget. Essentially, it was a flop, scoring an embarrassing 11% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. To make matters worse, Jaden walked away with a Golden Raspberry Award for the worst performance of the year. In his book, Will opened up about how starring in the film alongside him deeply affected Jaden, making a turning point in their relationship. Fans and the press were absolutely vicious. They said and printed things about Jaden that I refuse to repeat. He claimed, Jaden had faithfully done everything that I'd instructed him to do, until I had coached him into the worst public mauling he'd ever experienced. And as it turns out, this experience was so painful that he almost tried to leave his family behind. At 15 years old, when Jaden was asked about being an emancipated minor, my heart shattered. He ultimately decided against it, but it sucks to feel like you've hurt your kids. But in typical fashion for the time, the Smith family tried to maintain the illusion that they were the perfect family. And in an interview from that time, the pair joked about it as if it wasn't a real trauma for them to endure.
Now, speaking of that, I just heard when we were talking this morning about you being here that you are trying to become emancipated. Is that right?
See, here's the thing I need to explain. I'm not going anywhere. The thing that people don't get is everything at his house is free. So I can get anything and everything that I want at his house. So I think I'm gonna be there for 20, 30 more years. But he says as soon as I have a movie that's bigger than one of his movies.
Yeah, there ain't no reason to live at my house no more. But no.
So where'd that come from?
Just I think I made a joke in Tokyo. Yeah. No, he's like, I mean, my baby boy, he's never leaving me ever. Ever. No emancipation for the Smith kids.
No emancipation for the Smith kids.
Little did we all know that would be a sign of things to come for the family. Whether it was conscious or not, it was around this time that Jaden began to reinvent his public image. Suddenly, he would begin to deliver a succession of cryptic tweets, painting himself as a deep thinker with broader views on humanity, rather than being the little guy from The Karate Kid. And it was around this exact time that suddenly, he was giving himself reason to be clowned at all times. This is the era where the infamous Jaden Smith tweets began. We could be here all day reading them, so let's just take a look at a few examples. No pain, no gain. Young Kurt Cobain. Dear everybody who can rap better than me, please show me. If newborn babies could speak, they'd be the most intelligent beings on planet Earth. Alongside making big claims about his rapping abilities, for a kid who had only released one mixtape with the Cool Cafe at the time, Jaden's tweets continued to entertain and enrage in equal measure. While some people just took it as a little rich kid playing at being profound, others, including some of those close to him, began to take issue, including longtime friend Tyler the Creator, who responded with, "You actually kind of sound like an idiot," to a tweet from Jaden that said, "If everyone in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent society." With every thought from his head coming from a place of privilege, it was hard to take anything he said seriously. Instead, it wound up with him being the butt of the joke. For that reason, it wasn't even the only time he got Tyler's wrath around this time.
Jaden Smith said you really wrecked his sneakers when you come around the crib.
He's a fucking
Jaden Smith
is a fucking Jaden, I hate you, you're
for real?
Hey, that's my nigga though.
Alongside releasing the second project in his Cool Tape series, Jaden would continue to aggravate the public with his behavior. Not least of all, when he turned up to Kanye West and Kim Kardashian's wedding in a white Batman outfit, creating some of the most surreal images you'll ever see from a guest. Right away, this got him promptly roasted. The hero no one needs, and hopefully no one deserves. You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become Jaden Smith. Still, if you ask Jaden, he was on the right path. In interviews from around this time, he portrayed himself as though he was pushing boundaries in a way that was artistic rather than simply annoying. So much so that there's articles online that highlight some of his most cringe quotes of one particular interview where Jaden Smith was explaining that he really liked Apple products, before then making it 10 times deeper than it really was. Saying that he likes anything you can shock somebody with. The only way to change something is to shock it. If you want your muscles to grow, you have to shock them. If you want society to change, you have to shock them. Eager to be taken seriously as an artist, Jaden rose from the ashes of his wrecked film career to try and make it as an MC for real this time. And in interviews leading up to the release of his debut album, there was clear intent with his music.
I'm trying to make like young adults cry in their room or have like psychedelic experiences, like listening to my music and like have like a life-changing moment. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. I've never really been in love with the industry. I've always been in love with the connecting of abysses of people.
And more specifically, he wanted to emulate the man who did that for him.
Who made you do that? Who made you, as a young adult, cry in your room listening to their music?
Cudi, you know what I mean? Cudi would always say things that just would like change my life. And then, you know, I thought it was just me and my brother for a while. And then I got older and started going to festivals. And then I realized like, oh man, everybody feels like that. Like everybody has felt that from Cudi. Everybody says that Cudi saved their life. Everybody, you know, if you're born at that right time, everybody was in high school and just like chilling. And
I ain't gonna judge you
same
I ain't
experience.
had that life.
If someone listened to Cudi,
I don't even know who Cudi is.
Like something about them.
I'm from the trenches.
Like you can tell certain things about them.
But no matter what he thinks he's achieving, a lot of the public weren't on board. Particularly when he kept giving off the pompous vibe of a bratty rich kid who'd been taught that he was special. We don't think a lot of music out there is that cool. Jaden once said of himself and his sister Willow, "So we make our own music. We don't have any song that we like to listen to on the PCH by any other artist, you know?" This quote from Jaden is important because it basically sets the scene for how he'd carry himself from there on out. In his mind, he was the intellectual savior of hip-hop, claiming the title icon out the gate and attempting to make his album sound as profound as possible.
So with this album, I want you to talk to me, who is Sire to you? Because that's like, you know, it's so crazy. I really love that you formed this alter ego. Like, who is he to you? Like, what is that? What does that mean to you?
Well, to me, Sire is the kid who always chases the sun, but he's kind of like Cupid.
Okay.
He's like a modern Cupid. He's a symbol of love and teenage love, but most of all, he's a symbol of teenage heartbreak.
Yeah.
And sadness. He's kind of like a myth, like a legend, like Zeus. You know, like Sire exists in the clouds, on the mountaintops. You know, like in the sunset, and he just represents lost teenage youth, lost love.
Are we gonna keep meeting him on future albums? We're gonna get to know him better?
Yeah, you're gonna keep meeting him through the series of my music videos, and then through the film that I'm gonna release, the Sire movie, and then you'll meet the other alter ego, Iris.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get to know Iris too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But despite his best efforts, it doesn't connect. Deemed corny by many, his debut album Sire is his most successful album to date, peaking at number 24 on the charts and going gold. But reviews were mixed at best, with popular critics such as Fantano pretty much summing it up swiftly for everyone.
Always does
just kind of feeling like in general this record is fake deep. It's kind of fake deep. There's just too much filler. There's too much awful moments. There's too much completely drab, boring, average, run-of-the-mill, trendy, thoughtless, and middlebrow songs on this thing for it to truly be entertaining and worthy of the runtime that Jaden has given it.
Despite his ambitions, the attempt to make himself into an
I understand what bro was saying. I don't know the song. I don't even know.
But one of the biggest reasons Jaden struggles to succeed, despite his privileged upbringing, is that failure doesn't really cost him anything. Bad reviews and mediocre sales don't affect him the way they would with a regular artist. And the same goes for Aries, its sequel, which peaked at number 12 on the charts, but got far worse reviews. Described by Pitchfork as mostly a slog, they went on to say that it was the sound of an artist with a blurry vision and too many resources at his disposal. And sure enough, it was a far cry from what his dad wound up in when his album failed.
We released our next album and it was like a flop. It was a tragedy. It went like double plastic. I had spent most of my money, like all of it. I spent all my money. And I didn't forget, but I didn't pay the IRS. In my mind, I mean, I wasn't like trying to avoid paying taxes. I was just like, oh damn, they need their money. The IRS took all of that stuff. So I was like, broke. Being famous and broke is a shitty combination. Cause you're still famous and people recognize you, but they recognize you while you sitting next to them on the bus.
Where Will had to hustle, Jaden got to breeze by without any hardship for releasing a subpar project. All the while, he kept torturing people with cringe-inducing quotes where he proclaimed his own greatness.
I'm not a Mayan. I don't have the crystal skulls, and I don't have all of this ancient, infinite, knowledge. But I am a menace, and I am terrorizing this beat right now. There are some things I have done that are very, very iconic, like wearing a skirt at Louis Vuitton, or like crying in my music videos. So I feel like that's iconic because no one does those things,
I guess I get why people are so magnetized by Jaden Smith. Like, he thinks that he's so unique and he's so profound and he's so special and that he's really just trailblazing. And I think a lot of people want to feel that way. I'm sure it's a great feeling, but the price you pay for that always, there's no other price for this. The price you pay for that always is a stunning lack of self-awareness. A stunning lack of self-awareness.
And somehow it just kept getting worse.
The only reason that they receive that hate is because they do things that other people don't do. You know what I'm saying?
Problem with that statement is twofold. One, I feel like Jaden is kind of suffering from a bit of a Cudi complex on this thing. Like, all of his art exists through this lens of everyone doesn't like me, I have tons of people that don't like me, it's me versus the world, and I'm taking all this hate, I'm taking all this negativity, and I'm just like this master of my domain because I can just take it. You can hate on me all you want, just fucking crucify me. Like, the more people hate you and the more people dislike you is not necessarily the mark of a good artist. Like, certainly I feel like you can't please everybody, and you have to at least kind of piss some people off to show that you're doing something right. But if all you're doing is negativity, or at least all you're gauging your success by is negativity, you're kind of in a bit of a warped state of mind there.
Boasting 87,000 likes on his video, it's safe to say that people agree with Fantano's point of view. This kid has clearly lived in a bubble his whole life, where he was told how brilliant he is, and with all the money in the world to help him, you can see why he turned out this way. At least Lil Pump consciously knows he's a troll and goes with it. In spite of the fact that his own art wasn't exactly setting the world on fire, Jaden continued to move with a superiority complex, which made it sound like he was better than those around him.
And I look, and I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age, and they're just kind of selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
And unsurprisingly, this went down terribly with the general public. And if you had a negative view on him before, this seemed to basically solidify it. When you are born into wealth and privilege and never had any real problems, you go looking for them. Him and his family are so unbelievably out of touch with reality.
And all the comments are about his comment.
Read all the replies.
Did you talk about the political and economic state of our country at Coachella? Let's talk about the political state of the world. Wait, oh, this is just this one? I saw lots of videos on TikTok of people being like, bro, you're a fucking kid. Like, bro, we're at recess.
Well,
dude.
right, because I believe he was, I don't know if he said it in that clip, but I think he was referring to when he was like 12 or 13.
They're like, dude, this is recess.
Being kids.
I hate how this interviewer is just like enabling him. I don't know anything about him.
I work from kids my own age. And I look, and I go around sometimes and I hang out with other people that are my age, and they're just kind of
I hate that interviewer, how he does that.
So that's Big Boy. He's like a legend in LA radio hip hop. Yeah, he's like a legend. So I'm just curious why he had Jaden Smith.
Amid giving the public more and more reasons to troll him, Jaden stayed the course, explaining why he regards himself as a pioneer.
I just wanted to dive into a different type of style of music and really learn and kind of challenge myself as well and push myself and the team that I work with musically. And, you know, I'm always trying to do something that hasn't been done. I'm always trying to push some type of boundary on the edge of something. So, you know, we were trying to do that again with this album, and we're trying to do it even more so and like kind of get the point across even more with the deluxe version.
He even had the audacity to suggest that he was now a threat to the kings of the game. I always felt like Little Homie before, and that allowed me in all their circles, said Jaden. But now that I'm on the charts next to them, I'm not really Little Homie anymore. It's more like you can't hang out with us anymore. We didn't know you were making an album this whole time. We thought you were just Little Homie giving us free water and shit. You're not really cool with us anymore. But while their every musical movement makes waves, Jaden is stuck eternally trying too hard, and only really garnering buzz when he says something outrageous. From a stunt where he pretended to be Tyler the Creator's boyfriend.
I just want to say Tyler the Creator is the best friend in the world, and I love him so fucking much. And I want to tell you guys something. I want to tell you, Tyler doesn't want to say, but Tyler's my motherfucking boyfriend, and he's been my motherfucking boyfriend my whole fucking life. Tyler, the Creator, is my fucking boyfriend. It's true.
To a Style Icons video where he pinpointed a Greek god as someone he wanted to emulate.
Number 2, I think Poseidon. Poseidon has influenced me all types of ways. If you look at the sculptures, though, he has a lot of drapes. Just with the drapes and with the silhouettes, you know. Always when I was young, always got to me. Always knew that he was one of my fashion icons, inspirations. Poseidon has a lot of chains and jewels he also has a huge like trident. He has a trident, it's lit, and he's lit. It's just vibes inside it.
And rather than being treated as an equal in the way he saw it, Jaden continued to be sung by the true stars of hip-hop for how he was moving.
Went on tour with Thug. He's the coolest person ever, and we would hang out every single day. And he used to always come into my dressing room and be like, bro, there's no girls in here. And I'd be like, oh, no, and he'd be like, bro, I haven't seen you with any girls. I'm really worried. I would like go and hang out with people just so that like he would see me, so that he wouldn't worry. That was the best tour experience ever.
Now, the peak of engagement with his music is in the rear view mirror. These days, even his official videos average around 1 million views and are essentially capped there. Overall, it doesn't seem like he can escape his family's shadow.
When that happens, is it completely like that's the entertainment world and that doesn't affect the family, or do you guys just call and text and check on one another and make sure everybody's head screwed on right?
It's kind of like that's the entertainment world, and this is totally different.
Right.
We kind of like, it's like, yeah, because also by the time anyone is like writing or talking about anything, it's like we've been
beyond.
It's old news for us. You know what I mean? Like it's like anything that's in the news has had the time to happen and then go out. So by the time it's going out, people think it's happening, but it's actually has already happened.
That's a major key, It allows you to deal with it so much better than if you're dealing with it while the rest of the world is obsessed with it, right?
Yeah, and that's what it feels like for other people, but that's not actually how it ever is for us.
And while he was trying to be a serious artist, intermingling that with Red Table Talk
like, let's say you have an issue and you're going through like a problem or whatever it is, and you've got past the problem, and now everybody knows about the problem. That's going to bring the problem up a lot longer. Yeah, you're not about to be like, oh, well, I got over it. No, it's going to bring that problem back up to where you're like, damn, and it's going to eat at you again. So now you get double time. I'd rather y'all figure out when I knew, although it might be a double whammy, I don't want it to prolong. I think that's the worst you can get, is just prolong,
This didn't help either.
You and Daddy never told us really what type of world you guys came from.
Yeah.
We just thought that you guys just sprouted up out of the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And by this point, Jaden seems to be more than aware that for the most part, the public isn't rooting for him. Even when he tried to show off his gym gains, he had to do so through the lens of the way people see about him online. Haters will post the one on the left and ignore the one on the right. Like, damn, can a man have his phases? All in all, Jaden is in a tough spot, as unless you go out of your way to be a supporter of his, you either don't hear about his new work or you choose to write it off as just more music from Will Smith's Weird Kid. Even though he played a key role in creating the water box for Flint, Michigan during the height of the crisis, and clearly has his heart in the right place in some ways, it still hasn't earned him any slack. But right now, he might be releasing the most accomplished work of his career, and it wouldn't be enough. Because where he once had the capabilities to momentarily outrun his family's name, the collective distaste for the Smiths has made everything a whole lot harder for him to overcome. Back in the day, people used to wonder how someone like Jaden could be the product of a guy like Will Smith. Almost universally beloved, Will was a platinum-selling artist, a constant box office attraction, and even made a successful journey into
YouTube.
Everybody
hates Will.
And above all, he did it without sacrificing that good guy image. Or so we thought.
I'm coming into a space.
How have you maintained your authenticity? Because, I mean, you come from Philly, you've gone through everything. Like, your journey's been crazy. Like, how have you maintained that?
It's really interesting. It's like the idea, I haven't maintained my authenticity per se. I've maintained my character, right? I've maintained my beliefs, character in two senses. I've maintained my character of Will Smith, and I've maintained my personal character of what I believe in. So, but in terms of authenticity, the character, Will Smith, signs every autograph and is always happy and wants to see the fans and is always in a good mood. And that's actually not authentic, right? I do want to slap somebody, every once in a while. So in terms of authenticity, I have successfully maintained positivity, and now I'm working more to maintain authenticity.
Well said,
we all know the moment when the wheels officially came off.
Real articulate, The slap wrist.
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Looking back will tell you that Will Smith was coming apart at the seams long before the slap occurred.
the idea for me
the
is
whole wife and all this
I painted myself into a corner with Will Smith, right? And I realized that, you know, we have our childhood traumas, we have our experiences, and then we all create these characters that are going to be our characters that defend us in the world. Ooh. There's certain things we can't do, there's certain things we can't say, certain ways we react if people do something. Then that character wins some things for us. It's like, oh, we succeed by behaving this way. Then what happens, you get to a point where it stops working as well. And the reason that it stops working is because it's not true.
But once the slap happened, the goodwill was lost once and for all.
It was a lot of things. It was the little boy that watched his father beat up his mother. That was a rage that had been bottled for a really long time. But at the end of the day, I lost it. My nephew, Dom, is 9. And he is the sweetest little boy. He's like, you know, we came home and it's like he had stayed up late to see his Uncle Will. And he's just like, why did you hit that man, Uncle Will? You know, damn it. Why are you trying to Oprah me?
Then there was his mom's contributions to the whole thing. Ever since she revealed her entanglement with
At the end of the day, Will still be funny. You know what I'm saying? I still fuck with him and stuff. It was uncalled for to slap Chris for that. But then again, it wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Imagine somebody talking about somebody you care about, your significant other on stage in front of. I mean, I understand it was a joke and but people go through illnesses and go through stuff. That's like me making fun of it, right? Like if you're in a wheelchair or something, now I'm making fun of it, and I have no idea why you're even like that. So it's understandable why he slapped him. I would want him to have did that again. You know what I'm saying? Just cause you just don't disrespect people's loved ones. You just don't do that. I think it's crazy Loaysa didn't add the one video of Justin Bieber and bruh doing that weird shit. You know what I'm saying? Talk about that weird shit. Yeah, because he done destroyed his image way worse. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, there's no comeback for that. You know what I'm saying? You can get a bunch of weird people to hop on with you, but nah. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool on that. You know what I'm saying? But on the other hand, as far as like Will Smith, it's like I feel real bad for Will, because he worked so hard and he fought so hard to be great. And it's like, you ever be a good person, and I think we've all been good people at one point, not all of us, but most of us, and traumatic events happen to us that causes us to be not so nice people anymore. And it's permanent damage. And the more damage that happens, the more of an angrier person, the more of a, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, trauma really affects us as human beings. And the more we have, the worse, not the worst human being will be, but we'll be a lot more angry. We won't be as happy as we used to be. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people don't fail to realize that it's just taking innocence from people. You know what I'm saying? So I feel real bad for Will. You know what I'm saying? Because once there's no reversing time and taking back her cheating. There's no reversing that. You don't never, it's over with. Brother already had, it's over with. You know? Something you just have to live with or move on. And that's the hardest part, you know? But as far as Jada, I don't care about no hoe. It's so typical of females to, you know, not care and disregard. And man, she's just like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And the fact Loaysa didn't add the Tupac out, bro was so obsessed with Tupac. Because really, he wasn't obsessed with Tupac, she was. So it made him have to, like, live or see what she seen. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of destroyed him in that way, you know? And then again, he's a little too soft. You know what I'm saying? Kissing your kids on my lips is weird to me. I don't care what nobody say. You know, that's weird. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully they get better and shit like that. And it seems like Jaden's trying to be normal. It seems like everything could be okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm rooting for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know him. But y'all leave y'all comments down below. Y'all leave a like, subscribe. If y'all haven't, I would appreciate that. And one thing I do fuck with Will Smith. His whole career from I Am Legend to I, Robot to, you know what I'm saying? I grew up watching him. He always was an icon. You know what I'm saying? But I would appreciate that. Till next time.